Alright guys, welcome back to MLG Classics, where we have 32 of the best StarCraft 2 matches in the history of MLG. And we got a single elimination bracket. We're trying to find out which one is the best. Of course, you guys directly influence that. Depending on what you vote on, a different game will be advancing on in the bracket. That being said, let's take a look at the bracket we're working with today. We already saw those top 4 matches, actually top 6 matches, and now it's time to go down to that 4th quadrant. Of course, results are still being tallied right now. So if you haven't voted yet on those matches from above, you can still do that. And again, rebroadcasts will be happening as well. I think it'll be closing sometime tomorrow. But coming up next, we're going to have a battle between 2 matches from 2011. One from MLG Dallas and one from MLG Providence. Naniwa versus Kiwikaki is coming your way, and let me provide some context here. This is from a 2011 MLG, and this is the tournament where Naniwa, he came through the open bracket. He came from Sweden, decided to play in the open bracket, wasn't seeded in pools or anything. This was when people were being seeded in pools, and he did not lose a single game or something like that. In his pool play, he 2-0'd everyone. I'm looking at results here. Og, Tyler, Machine, and Druby. And then he went on to defeat Kiwikaki, and then he went on to defeat Select. And this game is going to be from the grand final. This is going to be Game 4, Naniwa versus Kiwikaki. Of course, Kiwikaki from Root Gaming. Everyone knows who he is, the Canadian. He's been tearing up the tournament as well. But remember, this is extended series, so this is Game 4 from the extended series. Naniwa versus Kiwikaki. Check it out.
And guys, I am so excited. Naniwa could go undefeated this competition if he wins this game. But you had mentioned one of the most amazing things could happen right now is that the all-kill from Kiwikaki to turn the tables completely day 9. Is it possible?
I really think of all players in this tournament, Kiwikaki is the one who can hold down under this kind of pressure. Kiwikaki right now down 0-3 to Naniwa, but he is not out of the woods yet. Naniwa can still end up getting knocked out. This is the map choice for Kiwikaki, but remember, Kiwikaki is going to have to be up against every single map choice from Naniwa coming up in the next 4 games. So that does mean that Kiwikaki is going to have extremely solid play. And again, Naniwa, look at this very early scout.
Yeah, very early scout. Just real quickly, we've got our our red Protoss, Root Kiwikaki, spawning in the 9 o'clock position, or the west position, on Metalopolis. And we've got Dignitas Naniwa spawning as the blue Protoss in the south position.
Yeah, Naniwa continuing to chrono boost those probes. And you know, in terms of best of 7 logic, if you are up a really high count, you can afford to do something very risky in order to be able to force your opponent to make a mistake in a later game. It's a very, very effective technique. A lot of players in a best of 5 actually do very goofy cheeses at the outset, so that way the opponent is thrown off in the later stages. Both players, though, look like they are opening up standard as can be. And that one probe from Naniwa is going to continue to try to do some harassment on the mineral line.
And you know, one time I haven't seen players do anything like that and really focus on some sort of possible unorthodox strategy in a best of 5 is when they have gone undefeated through the entire tournament, because they are riding on a giant wave of momentum and hope to just crush their opponent with it. And so that's why I expect, in fact, if I was going to think to see anything crazy, for some reason, I would just probably pin that on Kiwikaki.
Kiwikaki, I think, is going to have to get real creative if he wants to be able to stay alive in this tournament. Both of them opening up Standard, Cybernetics Core, and Zealot coming up. Both of them seem to have saved the same amount of chrono boost, 60 for Kiwikaki, 60 for Naniwa. Both of them continuing to peruse around one another's base. No gas steal upcoming. Almost certainly going to be a typical 4 warp gate. Would not be surprised to see Kiwikaki return to that bread and butter fast blink.
Yeah, it's a good one. Oh.
No way. Oh.
All right. Well, let's see if it could.
No.
You know what, though? You know what? Kiwikaki did see this probe kind of skirting around the edge of the base. Now, a lot of times when that might happen, you might say, hey, where'd that guy come from? I better check something out. So something that we will keep in mind right here. Meanwhile, the Zealot for Naniwa trying to chase out that probe. I will keep my eye on the minimap like I have.
Oh! And he spots the proxy pylon. Great Great move
Very
right there by
nice.
Kiwikaki. Gonna pick that off. Naniwa guaranteed to be behind. Briefly checks in there for the probe, and with these 3 popping out, the one advantage Naniwa does have is he can get an exact count on that gateway set, and it is going to be a lot higher than he wants.
And we've got another probe up here for Naniwa, and I think he wants to keep going. Like maybe he almost wanted that to be found. Pylon will go down over there near the expansion as well as the Stalker and the Zealot has come forward. There is one Stalker from Kiwikaki on the ramp. Right behind him is that Zealot. Another gateway is is down. Excuse me, Day 9.
And we do see Naniwa behind a little bit of money. That's going to be critical because that means Kiwikaki will have one additional Stalker. Kiwikaki now in the main, seeing that it is 4 Warp Gate versus 4 Warp Gate action. And look at this, Kiwikaki opting to throw down 1 sentry. He knows he's going to be ahead in the count because he killed off that pylon. And now Naniwa trying to dart up, and oh, a little bit of a miss there by Kiwikaki. He would have loved to pinch off one of those units.
And we've got another pylon right here on the corner of Kiwikaki's base. That so he's got 2 areas that he can warp in from at this point. Kiwikaki going to continue to warp units defensively into the top of that ramp. Meanwhile, Kiwikaki has a pylon right back here.
Looks like there is a pylon
God.
in the base by Kiwikaki. This could be a really great play. He has a lot of those units from Naniwa back in the main instead of at the front. More units getting warped in by Kiwikaki. It looks like he is going to have a solid hold.
Yes, he will, and although he does lose a little bit of supply there, it does not matter. 2 of those Zealots are not there. He's going to try to take out that pylon from afar. Zealot does come forward, and Naniwa is going to try this attack with some more units, but there's a lot of Zealots there and a good number of Stalkers, actually more Stalkers now for Kiwikaki. Zealots moving forward, though, and Naniwa actually doing a ton of damage here.
But Naniwa just doesn't quite have the unit count that Kiwikaki does. Look at how many units are on the field for Kiwikaki, and this pylon is even low. But oh, Kiwikaki Zealots even getting themselves an extra kill, and these extra Zealots that were back in the main. Again, I love that pylon placement by Kiwikaki. And there, man, just to pick off that pylon, 31 to 42. Ahead in every possible way. Kiwikaki just needs to play smart and play safe.
All right, well, although he did do a little bit of damage initially to the units that were there, Kiwikaki, as you mentioned, held it very, very nicely. Is he going to scout that additional pylon as well? As soon as that Nexus does go, oh, yeah.
Wow,
oh,
Kiwikaki on his game, spotting for everything, man, just to pick it off. And look at Dignitas's Naniwa, 35 of 34.
And look, I mean, that's going to give him a pretty nice little supply block there. He's going to have a couple other probes coming out, but that will put him behind just momentarily. We're going to have a robotics facility go down now, as it does look like Kiwikaki will move forward. Now, this is something that didn't work out for him so well in the last game, but this is a little bit different because his opponent's not sitting there with Blink.
So we do see Kiwikaki swinging around to the front end. Nothing coming out quite yet from the Twilight Council. Has to be a little bit careful on that positioning. Kiwikaki really should not engage here. This is going to be a little bit overly risky. He's going to send up 1 Zealot just to poke, and he will be returning back home at the end. So now he does end up getting Blink out. Has a lot of money stockpiled up. Could go for an expand. Could make more Zealots. Any option that he really chooses at this point is going to be a good one.
Well, I think this should be interesting. I mean, I got to think that Naniwa is thinking, okay, what am I going to do here? Now, I would really like to see something like a War Prism come out of this robotics facility. You know, I think that Naniwa knows that he's got to be a little bit behind, and there's something that he's got to do to come up here. But no, it's not going to have a robotics bay going down, and he'll just go ahead and hold on. He can defend in that base with the sentries. He can sit there and force field for a while, but I got to think that at this point, Kiwikaki eventually will throw down a Nexus as well, and he's got Blink almost finished, so it's kind of like he wants to give him a taste of his own medicine.
I mean, Kiwikaki just having great timing with this Blink, but Naniwa committing to holding on for as long as humanly possible. Kiwikaki continuing to mine gas now from 2 geysers, but the real danger at this phase in the game is looks like never mind. So many Blink Stalkers advancing forward. He's going to pop those safely off. Going to leave one up on the high ground as long as he can, so that way he can continue to get that vision, and Naniwa going to continue to block that down. The real danger, though, is that if Naniwa continues to try to hold on for way too long, then that means Kiwikaki could be worn out going into the next game.
Yeah, we're going to have another Mortal coming out here as well. Preemptive force field. They'll take out that pylon, no problem. Oh, and there's the blink.
The blink to the high ground. See you later, Immortal. Stalkers getting surrounded. Kiwikaki ripping everything apart, picking off all those Stalkers that are warping in. And the best treat of all, 5 Zealots, 6 Zealots on the low ground. Naniwa might end up losing the first game of the entire tournament. And it looks like Pro's being pulled off now. 1 Immortal hanging back. More force fields at the front. The Blink Stalkers continuing to rally forth. And Naniwa might lose the first loss of the entire tournament.
Wow.
25-1. Kiwikaki keeps the hope alive.
There it is. Kiwikaki preventing Naniwa from literally winning an MLG without dropping a single game. Naniwa would go on to win that series 4-2. He was your MLG 2011 Dallas champion. Remember, guys, keep that in mind because we got another game coming up. It's going to be Lenok versus MVP. Only one of these games can move on to the round of 16 of the best of series, the best of the best here. StarCraft 2 matches at MLG. Guys, stay tuned. We'll be back after a quick break.